Okay, welcome everybody to the February STEM Zoom call. Our goal is to do this once a month, the first Tuesday of each month. This is our third one, and all of them are recorded and all of them are linked on our website, MississippiRobotics.org. And at the top, you'll see a link that says STEM Zoom calls.
Okay.
And even though we don't get a lot attend it live, but quite a few, it looks like, are watching the replays. Our goal is to generally help everybody out, help you get started, help you with issues. Uh, and so each time we meet, we're going to do a short presentation on an issue. I'll do that, and then Miss Liz will talk about some resources, and then we'll open it up for discussions. So let me, oh, by the way, I put in chat all the links that we're going to deal with today. So if you want to download the PDF, that's what I'm going to go over right now. And then later, uh, there's a couple resource links that Miss Liz will work on. So I'm going to share my screen. And okay, I thought I'd start out with these are the links that we maintain. Um, So we have a donation link. Of course, we're a 501c3. We depend on donations. We also receive grants. STEM Teacher Association, that's a global general site for all STEM teachers. Right now, we have about 400 members, and we are posting resources on there. Our most used resource is our STEM Search. And we collect a lot of links from all the search engines and we put them on there. So if you're looking for a classroom grant or robotic curriculum, you'll find lots of links. There's about 4,000 links now, and I have about another 8,000 to add as soon as I get some time here.
Wow.
And then MississippiRobotics.org, that's our main program and service site. So after we do programs, we post pictures and links. So if you need ideas, you should be able to get them there. We're 14 years old and we've reached over 5,000 students directly, and we've trained over 300 STEM teachers. Not to say we're finished yet, but we got a long ways to go. So today I want to just go over one of our competition events, and it's electricity. This is not a full class in electricity, but our goal is to expose third through 12th graders to the elements of an electrical circuit. And so we require them to build up a circuit, and we have a time limit, and then they get judged on that. And I'll go over what we do, and then if you want to do what we do, that's fine, or you can certainly modify it. This is a basic circuit that we present the kids. Sometimes we only do this through third through fifth, and then the older ones we give a more complex circuit, which I'll show you. Uh, but it's important that they know a battery, a switch, and what's called a load. It could be a motor, it could be a light, it could be a buzzer, um, and then traditional color coding of wire, particularly red and black when dealing with polarity plus and minuses. So I'm going to go through each of the elements that we use and what it costs, and almost all of them are available. All of them are available on Amazon or Walmart. So we use a 6-volt battery. Most kids don't know it's called a lantern battery. They call it a deer camera battery, or some of them say car battery. But, and really, when you teach this, teach the other batteries, teach the AA, AAA, open up a flashlight and show them what's in there, and teach them there's different voltages, and the size of the battery has a lot to do with the capacity or how long it's going to last. Uh, so I get these from Amazon and Walmart. Amazon's a little cheaper. They're about $5 each. You buy them in groups of 6, as I remember. Switches. Uh, we love to teach the kids. There's lots of switches. Switches will open and close the circuit. It'll make the light turn on, or the motor turn on or turn off. Switches have normally 2 leads, one the positive, one the negative. On switches, it doesn't really matter which is which, because the switch itself will either open or close the circuit. I love the knife switch. It's easy for the kids to operate, and it's easy for them to clip the leads to the red and black terminals. So we have a toggle switch, and you can tell them when you move the toggle, it either shorts the 2 leads in the back or it opens them up. Rocker switch. And then the last one is the normal household switch. And of course, they use those every day in their normal house operation, but sometimes they don't know what it looks like. Now, what you need to teach here is that the contact points are not the end of the switch, they're not the casing, the metal, but it's the 2 leads sticking out at the top. And it's very common for the kids to just connect the 2 ends and not the 2 leads. And so you see there's various costs on that. Walmart is even sometimes cheaper. Um, just check it out. But at this stage, we have a pretty good collection of all of it. So we teach electricity almost on the spot, if we need a quick lesson. And the kids love it. Once they learn how to hook up a circuit and turn a motor on or turn a buzzer on, they'll sit there for hours and play with it. We had one class, I think a 6th grader, figured out how to put duct tape on the end of her motor, and she created a saw and was sawing up her paper to make figures. So lot of creative opportunity. Just a second, a couple more people are joining. Yeah, we have the buzzer. The buzzer's fun because it makes a lot of noise, and they like to turn it on and off. Uh, Devices that are active, make noise, or lights turn on, they have a voltage rating. So when you buy a buzzer, like I said right here, 3 volts to 24 volts, just make sure it's within the range of the battery that you're using. This is one of the motors. There's several motors available on Amazon. Motors, it's critical that you stay within the voltage range. So this one is 3 to 6 volts. Some of them are 1.5 to 12 volts. Some are 6 to 12 volts. In terms of teaching basic electricity, it really doesn't matter. What counts is when they throw the switch, they complete the circuit, and the motor turns on. Now, if you don't put something on the end or the spindle of the shaft of the motor, they sometimes don't know it's on because some of them are pretty silent. So just get a small piece of duct tape and just tape it on the end, and then they'll know that the motor's turning. Now the motor, like the like the battery is polarized. So these are DC direct current motors, which means you can reverse the plus and minus, and it reverses the rotation of the shaft. So that's something that you can also teach. If the motor was the wheel of a robot, then by reversing it, the robot would either go forward or backwards. I think I skipped, yeah, I skipped the lights. Let me go back to that. So since we have a 6-volt battery, you have to have a 6-volt bulb. You can use a 12-volt light bulb, but it's going to barely light or not light at all. So you can buy the 6-volt ones, 35 cents each. I think you buy them in groups of 10 or 20. And then there's a holder you can buy. Like, we recommend the holder because the kids can easily clip onto the screws. You see, if you only had the light bulb, they'd have to clip on the case and then the very end of it, and that's pretty hard to do. So for 65 cents, you have a full setup. Okay, let me go back. Then the wires. There's lots of wires you can buy. They're called test leads or jumper wires. Um, we've settled on this particular one because the handle is flat, so young kids can easily, you know, compress the clip and then clip it onto um, one of the terminals. Some of them are round, so the kids their fingers slip off all the time. But we've been using this for a couple years, and it seems to work okay. It's a little more expensive, and but it works very well. Now you can buy it in different lengths. We buy 3 foot. You can get them up to 10-foot lengths. Okay, so back to the basic circuit. If this was our competition, we would give them 1 minute. I think one year we gave them 30 seconds to build this up. So we would give them 3 wires, a battery, a switch, and a motor. We'd give them 30 seconds to arrange the elements. We say go, give them a minute to hook it up. The numbers I have there like 4, 4. So every connection, every colored wire that they have correct, they get 4 points. And then at the end of the minute, if they can throw the switch and the motor comes on, then we give them extra points, maybe an extra 5 or 10 points. Now we've been doing this for a while. A lot of our kids, out of several hundred, they can do this pretty fast. We even have third graders that can do this in about 30 seconds. So here's what you need to be teaching when you prepare kids to do this for the competition. Of course, teach safety. They should be wearing safety glasses if they're around electricity. You teach the wiring diagram, that the diagram represents the physical components. So the symbol for the battery and the symbol for the switch. You teach the different components. So I talked about a lot of different kinds of switches. So explain to them explain to them the buzzer, and you can demonstrate it. You can teach series and parallel circuits, which I'm going to show you in a second. You can teach battery polarity and motor polarity and explain what that term means. Teach color code wire. The electrical industry has color coding on almost everything. Most important is positive is normally red, negative is normally black. Teach accuracy, meaning that when they clip these wires on, that it's a solid clip. It's not just barely touching, and it won't get bumped off. And then once they know how to do all that, then you start timing them to see how fast they can do it. So the purpose of our competition is to give the kids an opportunity to exercise their skills. We judge them by points, and then we award prizes for each event, or in particular, this competition, this event. We don't want everybody to get 100% because that would be 100 ties in our case. So I adjust the time based on experience so that there's some that get it all right and then some that don't do so well. So we get a pretty good bell-shaped curve on the scores. And these are some links on YouTube that teach basic electricity. So if you want to, you can show your kids this, and that'll help them understand a little bit more than what I've been saying here. And all these links are clickable on the PDF link I gave you. And then this is what we did a few weeks ago in our latest competition, 3rd through 12th grade. This is the exact paper we gave them. We gave them 30 seconds to arrange all their components, arrange their wires, arrange their switches, the batteries. We gave them 2 batteries, 3 switches, a motor, a buzzer, and plenty of wire. So 30 seconds to arrange, and then we gave them 2 minutes to make the circuits. So the circuit above is obviously the easier one, and that's called a series circuit. Everything is in series. And when you throw the switch, the motor or the light should turn on. The below one is a series parallel. So coming off the battery is series, and then you have the 2 parallel paths returning back to the battery. So you can turn on either switch. So one switch will turn the light on, one switch will turn the buzzer on. And then on the right, that's our scoring rubric. So we just add up the points on did they clip to the battery properly with the red wire and then to the switch. Um, so the upper circuit, they can get a max of 50 points. The below circuit, a max of 84 points. And then if all the switches turn on the appropriate component, like the upper one turns on the motor, the bottom one turns on the light and the buzzer, then we give them 16 extra points for a total of 150. In our last competition of 120 students, one of them got a perfect score. The average was probably 70. So this is one of the students. So he arranged his wires and battery. We let them set it up however they want, and then they had 2 minutes to do it. It's really quite popular. The more we do it, the more popular it is because they enjoy learning electricity. And as we know, science and engineering, technology, electricity is everywhere. So it's a good introduction for engineering, and in particular, if they go into electrical engineering or computer engineering or electromechanical engineering, they're going to need to know this. So that's the end of my presentation. Any questions before Miss Liz talks about her resource links?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So my question is, let me turn my camera back on. Well, anyway, my question is Angela Housey. My question is, I missed the first couple of the um, trainings on electricity, but I am interested in teaching this segment with some children. Now, is it too late to join for them to join? Um,
Um, you mean join the competition?
yes.
Our next competition is in March, and
Okay.
it's the homepage on our website, MississippiRobotics.org,
Okay.
and you can still join 3rd through 12th.
Thank you.
3rd through
Okay.
5th is the last Saturday in March, and 6th through 12th is the first Saturday in April.
All right. So I need to go back and teach them this foundation part of it before so they can be prepared, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll help them enjoy it more.
Yeah, tell them
Oh.
where it'll be located, Ray. It'll be at the Nissan Training Centers where we're going to have the competition.
In
Canton.
Madison. I can't.
Canton, right.
Canton,
Okay.
right.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No.
So with the links and the components from Amazon, you should be able to have a whole kit to teach. And it's all reusable, except if they burn out the lights, no, but everything's reusable. And they do have a lot of fun with it, especially the buzzer and the motor.
Okay, so the links, I'm not seeing the links. Where would I find those? 'Cause I'm looking, but I don't see it.
I'm sorry I said links, but I just mentioned Amazon or Walmart. So if you go to Amazon and just put in 6-volt light bulb,
Mm-hmm.
you'll get lots of them to come up, but just kind of look at the picture that I gave you.
I think it's on your PDF in the did you put your PDF in the chat or no?
I look in the
yes.
chat. I didn't see anything in the
Yeah, I
chat.
didn't see it. Do it again, Ray, because I don't think it came up.
Okay, let me repost all the.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking. Sorry, guys.
No, that's fine. We got to get you your info. There you are. There we are.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I posted before. I put it in chat before you guys joined. I didn't know you don't see it. Okay.
Okay, I see it now. Thank you.
And Miss Liz, let me post yours again also.
I think, let's see. I think it came up, Ray. Let me see. Yeah, it came up.
Oh, did?
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so Liz is going to talk about a couple of STEM resources.
Can I share my screen? Is it possible?
Yes, just a second.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'll hit share in a sec. Okay, so I'm just going to share 2 with you guys today. And 2 of these, one I use a lot. The other one I used to use a lot, and I really need to get back to it because I was just visiting on their website. The first one is Instructables. So if y'all are not aware of Instructables, you need to be aware of Instructables. So this is, am I sharing yet? Let me see.
Not yet.
Here we go. Let's see if it'll share. You got it?
It's sharing.
Coming up.
Okay. Let me know when it's there. Did it
It's there.
populate?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Uh-huh.
So it's Instructables, and it used to be just called Instructables, but Autodesk, which is AutoCAD, Tinkercad, bought these guys. And these guys are wonderful. So if you go to your heading and you look at projects, contests, or teachers, let me click on teachers. I think I'm already in teachers. Yeah. Okay. So you'll see it's all down by grade. So say I want to teach something, I don't know, I'm at a loss for something to teach my 6th or 8th graders. So I can click on 6th through 8th grade, and then I can go to my subject matter and go, man, I need some really good engineering something going on. So it'll give me the engineering, and you scroll through. And so you can kind of figure out, okay, what looks good? What can I do? Let me find one in here. Let's look at this Arduino base. If you're doing any type of Arduino, there are so many Arduino projects in here. It is not funny. So it'll give you kind of the overview of who came up with the project, all of this, the supplies you need, all the project-based learning stuff, and it just goes through the whole thing. So, I mean, this guy does, and I know I'm scrolling through very fast, guys, so I'm not going to take up a ton of your time with it, but then we get to the actual project, and they'll just lay it out step by step by step on what you need to do. And if you here we go. So if you're doing any type of Arduino setup or you want to build something, what I usually do is let the kids go to this and I'll give them parameters and say, okay, hey, I need you to go to Instructables, go find a project. And when you find a project, come back and tell me what the project is. And then we'll go through it. And I might give them a budget and say, okay, your budget is, $10, $5, or a big one. Or if the class wants to collaborate on a project that they find, it's awesome. Now, if you have contests and you want your kids, say, they're really into something, wearable technology or furniture making or whatever, they have these competitions that are open for the kids to do. And it is amazing. So like if I went to my cooking contraptions, well, it's going to tell me the details of this contest. So anytime you're looking for something a little bit more for your students to do, say you've got one that's just absolutely loves cooking. Well, I might put them on this. I had one that was in VR. Ray and I taught a young lady that was into VR, and she couldn't get enough of Unreal. Well, they had a virtual reality competition, and she just went through the whole thing. All right, so that was Instructables. Let me get back to, actually, let me go back one. We're gonna do that. Oh, sorry. I'll come back to it. All right, the next one. How are we doing on time? We're doing good on time. Okay, the next one is called STEM Scopes. This one used to be called, I think in their heading, they're called Accelerate Learning. Are y'all familiar with STEM Scopes at all? Anybody ever heard of them? Okay.
No.
They originated out of Rice University through the ISD in downtown Houston area, and that's where I became familiar with them. So these guys are awesome. It's all research-based, hands-on learning, and these people are amazing. And I have just messed around with their website today. And so let me take you through their headings. So you can go to About Us, their overview, their STEM programs. Just when you highlight their STEM programs, am I sharing this? Y'all can see this, okay?
Yes.
Okay. So see under science, it's got STEM scope science, collaborative science, go to math. It's got its math. What I like about the math are these practice books. And these practice books, you put in if you want samples, put it in, put your district email in. And this is nationally, okay? And try to pick it and then do, whatever. And they will send you these booklets. Now, back in the day, these were, I saw these when they first came out, and I could not get enough of these. These were just amazing. So they do a really good job. Go back to programs. With that independent skills. And then if you want to do technology, they have their own streaming. Ray and I need to look back at their coding. Ray, I just looked at their coding, and it's starting to look really good on what they're doing. They've come up with like little, I thought this was cool. Mars needs milk. So code for how we're going to get a cow and how we're going to do this with getting milk to Mars. So and I'm pretty sure they're using, it's JavaScript on these things. And so it's amazing on some of the things that they're doing. So on their STEM programs, that's the coding. You can do their engineers. But here's what I really like. You go over to their resource page and you go to my favorite for all teachers, free resources. And you click on it, right? Okay, so go to this. Man, I want to order all of this now. Okay, so they're starting to do with their elementary pack activities, their classroom seating, I don't really care about, but posters galore, and then they'll send you some sample hands-on lessons. So fun. Fill in your name, district, all this fun stuff, and hit it, see what they tell you to do, because these guys are all research-based. And again, like I said, they started off and they still are with Rice University. So Rice obviously was a teaching university over in Houston. And so they've incorporated a lot of the research in, and I know they're still working with the districts in and around Houston to get, does this work? You know, this is a hands-on lesson. Does it work? And they actually put it in classroom practice and will come back and say, hey, this does work, or we need to do this a little tweaking or whatever. But they've also, and here's their research. If you want to go, if you need to ever back up something, the efficacy studies are really good. Their research it's hands down, it's amazing. I could stay in this website for a day or two and just look at all the stuff they're doing. It really kudos to them. It has come a long way. Over to the left, if you see Find Curriculum Built for My State, well, let's say we're doing it for Dr. Heflin. And so he's in Georgia. Can I go to Georgia and go click on his state aligned curriculums? Well, absolutely I can. So here's STEM scopes for Georgia. And it gives you your math, Math Nation, science, I mean, the whole thing. So it's aligned for in the United States. And I wouldn't be surprised. Who else are we in here? No, they've just done it for the United States. Okay. So whatever state you're in, pick a state and it will give you all your state alignments in here. So it's amazing. Love it, like it. I will be using this a little bit more just to kind of get, because you always need more input, right? And you may not want to use exactly what they're doing, but you can certainly use it as a platform to dive into and you know, start looking at something else. They're speaking of diving in, their engineering. They have some just really cool ideas. So I'm not going to go into all this stuff, but here's all their kits too. And it's neat. Really, really cool. Not expensive. Stomp rockets, not expensive. Rubber band cars, not expensive. So you're not talking about just a ton of expenditure here. You're not going to blow your whole science budget on these STEM kids, and they're really cool. So anyway, these are the two. So the Instructables, and then going back to STEM scopes, which for some reason, if you'll see the heading up here, it comes up as accelerate-learning.com. So I guess they're doing business as Accelerate Learning, but it's under STEM scopes. Not sure how that does, but that's all of the things there. So anyway, those are the two. Do y'all have any questions so far on these guys? Y'all can find them. We did put the links in the chat, so y'all will have those in the chat too. So I'll get out, and then I think I'm out. Okay.
Now, I'll make a comment that in our history, we found that some kids like to build and some kids like to code. And so on projects that have both, just find those two kids and let them work together.
Oh, that's good.
We had one boy that was a great programmer, but boy, he didn't like the hardware at all. In fact, he refused to touch it. He just wanted to code. Any questions on the resources? Well, since we have a fairly small group, let's introduce ourselves. And let's see. I saw an old friend on. I guess he left, Mr. David Schumer. I don't think he's on. So, Dr. Heflin, why don't you go ahead and start? Tell us where you're from and a little bit about your STEM robotic program.
Okay, yes. As you guys can see, my name is Dr. Elliot Heflin, and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm the owner of Reality Tech Academy, and I specialize in coding and humanoid robotics. So that's basically what I teach.
And what grade levels?
I teach from the age range of 9 to 18.
Oh,
Online or in person, doesn't matter.
and how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing it 10 years now.
Good for you.
I started off at a private school teaching Python to high schoolers.
Oh.
And went from there. When COVID hit, I went from there.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Good job. Miss Angela, how about you?
Well, I'm very, very new. So I'm Angela Housey. I am the owner of Decision Academy, LLC. And I just love teaching children. Being that my background is in financial literacy, but I've always loved to teach on STEM, especially, in today's arena to where we are now. I just always been fascinated by teaching and learning new things. And I think it's very beneficial that we continue to teach our youth. So whenever we are having outings, if it's at the church or if it's in the community, I always like to bring a STEM project to get their minds and juices flowing. So I've been doing this for a couple of years, I might say, Ray, on and off with you. As you started, we started with faith and robotics. That's the first one when
Oh,
I
good.
got the invite. And so it has some great lessons in there. And then I always find time, and I have more time now to really to get invested into the whole teaching of the STEM and doing the products in the communities.
Wow.
hmm
It's exciting to hear the passion of all of you.
Thank
It's
you.
a great need.
It is.
Let's see. Whoever is called iPhone, you want to tell us about yourself? We'll come back if you want to. How about Kanika? Nope, she left.
She left.
How about Romeo? You want to tell us a little about yourself?
I attended last month. I teach high school in near Manila.
That's right.
Philippines.
I teach at the grade 9 and grade 10 level, but I help develop robotics for children, for younger children. Some
And
kids.
you have a school, or you do it
Yeah.
through a school?
Yeah, we have a school.
What is
Romeo, he was on last week, right? Or last
I
month?
was on last week.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Well, we appreciate you joining us. We know the time difference is probably the middle of your night.
It's 6 o'clock now. 6 o'clock
Oh,
in the
okay.
morning.
In the morning, so you just wake up a little early.
Yeah, wake up early.
Well, thanks for sharing.
so he's from the Philippines, Mr. Hope? He's from
Yeah,
Oh,
Manila,
beautiful.
Philippines.
Okay, beautiful. Okay.
Yeah. How about Ward? You want to
Which one?
tell us?
Where the camera?
Right beside it.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Hello. Can you all hear me?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello to
we can
everybody.
hear you. We don't see you, but that's
You
okay.
don't see me? I'm
Oh, we got you.
hitting the
Oh,
buttons
now
here.
we see you.
You see me? Okay. I don't see me, but okay. Well, I got to come down with Greater Praise Christian Academy in the Nissan plant.
Right.
And I really enjoyed that. I actually won one of the contests with the rocket. And but anyway, I do the school. I help out at the school, but also I have an outreach, and I've been able to use some of the things that I've learned. But this is my first time actually on the Zoom call. I got something in today, and I was like, let me get to it. And I got in here on the end, but I really would like some more of the information with the electrical. We won't be able to enter this time, but I could be ready for the next time. And I got to go to Uganda, and we even tried out some of the rockets over there with bottles and PVC lines, and we made it work, and they had an exciting time, and so did I. So looking forward to just staying with you all.
And
Mr. Ward, are you in
what,
Memphis?
go ahead.
I was going to ask him if he was in Memphis. Are
Yeah,
you in Memphis? Yeah,
correct.
you're in Memphis.
Correct. Mhm.
Right.
Greater Praise Christian Academy.
Gotcha.
Mhm, mhm.
And what grade range do you work with?
Well, at the school, it's K-5, and in the community, usually the ones show up usually like 14, 15. And those are the ones that really I'm having to have to go back and just teach them basic hand tools, really. But I want to get them
Mm.
eventually to the point to where they can learn more things. So that's why I'm trying to stay involved. So when they're ready, I'm ready.
Well, teaching hand tools to K through 12 is one of the high priorities for industry. They're always telling us, teach the kids how to turn a screwdriver. Because
Right.
they hire adults that don't know how to do that.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was I had to get one of the young men to help a lady at the store next to where we are to put air in a tire. And the 18-year-old, I said, well, go. Well, he was 17 at the time. I said, go and help the young lady put some air in a tire. And my wife looked over there and said, do he know how to put air in the tire? I'm like, sure he do. And he know how to do that. And so he couldn't do it. He didn't know where the stem was. So
Mm.
went over and showed him. And so I just make sure I kind of stay on the basics first. And I think once they get that, what you all are doing with the robotics, I'm just enjoying what I'm learning. And I know they're going to be on top of that.
Your story reminded me of an assignment I did 2 years ago with elementary kids. I had them tape measure the diameter, the circumference of their teacher's tire. So we went outside, we measured, and three of her tires were pretty close, but one of them was off. And I just, talked to them, what does that mean and all that stuff. And, they kind of came up with, well, it doesn't have enough pressure and all that. Well, this third grader goes into the teacher, pulls her arm, and says, teacher, you have a very, very serious problem. Your one tire is smaller than the other tires. And then he had to explain it to her. But it was so dramatic and he was so concerned.
It was a big
But then
problem.
we got a chance to talk about, well, what happens, Does that mean one tire goes faster than the other? So it was interesting. We had a pretty good
Right.
discussion. And then at the end, sixth grader said, Ray, I have a question. Who invented circumference?
Mm-hmm.
Then I had a chance to go into, a spiritual
Oh,
discussion. We have natural laws on some of that.
right.
Uh, Anybody else want to share? I'm not sure who iPhone is, but you want to share? Well, let's open it up to questions, concerns you might have. Uh, Actually, I wanted to say one thing before that. We've been working on some grants recently, and we've noticed either through NASA or NSF, they are asking for grants on informal STEM. Now, first, we didn't know what that meant, but after reading a lot of grants, they're looking for us to reach the community through activities and competitions. And they're looking for museums to give tours and have exhibits. and some of them are offering a lot of money for that. So it's something to think about, instead of teaching kids STEM through a formal education curriculum, it looks like our government is, I think it's a smart idea, is just reach them where they are, let them have fun with STEM and do STEM activities. So any questions for discussion? Any concerns you have?
Ray, you do maintain a grants page, right? So if they needed to look up a grant or kind of see something, don't we have some resources for them on that?
Yeah, that was on STEMteachersAssociation.com. There's a STEM search.
The STEMteacher.com.
STEM Teacher Association.com. It asks you to join for free, but the STEM search part, you don't have to join for that.
But a sidebar, I forgot to mention to you, Mr. Ray, we did do the rocket. So we had neighborhoods to come over, the neighbors. And then I also had my grandkids was here, and we did make the bottle rockets, and it was very, very, it was very, very good and interesting. As we did use the Alka-Seltzer, the same thing that we learned when we was down there. It was so much fun.
Messy but fun.
It was so much fun. And the only expense I had to go and buy the PCV pipes, of course. And so I did those, and they just wanted to keep doing them, but then I ran out of Alka-Seltzer. So we couldn't do it. But it was really, really good. I did make the short ones. The short ones didn't come up, and I don't know why, the shorter ones didn't come up as tall as the long ones did. And so we did not have, the one that we stepped on with the air pressure. So I allowed them to still fly them, and it still really worked well, But the one when we did use the short one with the Alka-Seltzer, it came up, but not as high as I wanted it to. But it was great.
Mm.
And just doing it in the neighborhood, it was a lot of fun because we got a lot of kids around here. So I try to keep them busy.
There you go.
Well, I think that's what's called informal STEM.
Yes, sir.
So
Informal
look
STEM.
around, you may have some funding to keep doing that.
Okay, I will. I'll check that out.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
So are you guys based out of Mississippi? Are you guys based out of Mississippi?
Yes, I'm here. I can barely hear you though. Let me turn it up and see if that's me. Go ahead, sir.
I said, are you guys based out of Mississippi?
Yes, I'm in Hattiesburg in Lamar County.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Ray?
I am south of Jackson, and Miss Liz is South Mississippi on the border of Louisiana.
Okay.
And our programs draw from Louisiana, Alabama, Arkansas, and Tennessee. Not a lot, but people have come for both.
Okay.
But we're more than glad to have anybody come and learn and participate.
Okay, yes, that's good.
We've been very fortunate lately. We received a couple of grants from NASA, and every state has a NASA consortium office, and they receive money from the federal NASA, and then they distribute it within the state.
Okay.
So you might look them up, and they're looking for
Exactly.
they're looking to reach rural kids.
Well, I got them. I have
Yeah,
them.
Yeah.
you do.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go in there and look at. You said it was in NASA, and you said it was NASA, and you got it in the you put that in a PDF. Is that same information in there or something different I have to go and search out?
We didn't put the NASA in particular. Uh, it's called the Mississippi Space Grant Consortium. So put that into Google. Their office is at Ole Miss, and they have a webpage with lots of options for funding.
Mississippi Space Grant
Grant
Consortium.
Consortium. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I wrote that down.
But whatever state you're in, each state has an office.
Mhm.
Also, almost every industry has some kind of funding for robotics or STEM. So if you have a large company near you, don't be afraid to look at their homepage or just call them. Ask for their community service office.
Community Service Office. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Sometimes
interested
it's
in,
called communications, but
oh yeah,
just tell
communication.
me you want to find out if they offer funding for STEM programs.
For STEM programs, yeah. Because I really want to get into I know they do some coding, I know they do that here in Hattiesburg at Oak Grove School. But what I want to do is the engineering, the electrician, the one you did with the batteries. I want to do that one so bad. That looks so much fun. I really want to get that one, even in the neighborhood. If I can't get it nowhere else, I would like to do that. But I'm going to call and see, because see, my master's is economic workforce development, and even because that would be great to even start off with the engineering, and like the other young man was saying, teaching them different tools and preparing, the higher age to prepare them for employment, because the baby
Yes.
boomers all retiring, and you got to get somebody got to get into the workforce.
Yes.
Right.
You got to, because everybody's not made for college. Let's just be honest. And so let's get them prepared for workforce. And
Well,
then,
we are into an age of very specialized skills,
yeah,
whether it's cyber field or AI field or electronics. We need people that know what they're doing, and
yep,
in many, many cases, 2 years of training is plenty.
it's plenty.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's where I
Now,
want
last
to.
summer, Liz and I did a teacher-student robotics workshop, a 30-hour workshop over a period of several months. We had about 30 students. And the workbook I developed, I put it on our website. You can download it for free.
Okay.
It uses the Elego Smart Robot, which is about $85. It walks them through building the robot, calibrating the wheels, and then programming the motors and the sensors. And then if you keep me informed as the students go through, then we can issue a certificate at the end.
Okay.
But
Beautiful.
every student loved it. They loved building their own robot. They loved programming it. Now, we taught programming in the Scratch language, but the robot also takes Python. So you can start with Scratch and then you can go back and teach them Python. So any robot that uses Scratch or Python through the Android, the workbook is good for that. So if you go to MississippiRobotics.org, there'll be a link there that says free robotics workbook.
Okay. Thank you. Then I'll keep you abreast if we decide to do that one. Because I did sign up with the STEM, and that's our STEM teacher training. So they said if I ever need any
Right.
help to let them know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
they-
close to them.
Yeah,
Yes,
they're in
sir.
your back door.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm definitely going to do that and see if we can get some funding so we can actually teach it. Because I got free space at USM. They allow me to have any room size
Oh,
that
man.
I want. So that's good. So I'll be happy,
Now, Angela, we may have a workshop also, part two, coming up in the summer
Okay.
for that communication. We'll send that out. I don't know when we'll, April, Mayish, I guess.
All right. I'll be
And
looking out for it.
I think we're going to do part two, Ray, or we're going to kind of do we don't know yet.
Kind of depends on the funding.
Yeah, if we get the funding.
Okay.
So, and I'm sure soldering is going to sneak in there because we've got more teachers that want to know how to solder than anything. So, we'll probably teach some soldering and
Is that
lots
what the burning the wood you're speaking of?
that is actually like mini welding, but it's cleaning up
Oh, the
components
welding part. Okay.
and with the soldering iron. So you would have seen it when they're people are working, in little small areas, putting
Oh,
down.
yes, yes, yes. The two little silver stencils that they're using to I got you now.
So you
Mhm.
add heat to it and it kind of welds it together. So, but we've had a lot of teachers request that they learn how to solder. So we're happy to teach that. I love teaching soldering. I'm not as good as Ray, but I'm working towards it.
Oh,
Only been
that'd be
doing it now
great.
10 years, but I'm still not as good as Ray. But well, heads up on that. We'll let y'all know on the emails and what's happening with that. Hopefully we'll kick another one off. Those workshops are fun because you're able to bring your students.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's great. I'm very interested in it.
So we do.
Indeed.
You can mentor, then the kids can learn enough to where they teach us, right?
That's right. That is right. And oh, this is going to be great because I definitely want to get I definitely want to get the kids looking into engineering, into cybersecurity. I definitely want to get even the lumberyard. I saw, that they're using robotics to do the lifting and things of that nature, but they still
Yeah.
need to understand. They need to understand robotics. They
Yeah.
got to get it, the coding of it. They need to understand how to work the computer for that. The computer um, technology for robotics. So they need to get an early start and get a jump on this stuff. In AI, of course, which I'm sure they already know how to do all the AI stuff. Especially if you go to Oak Grove out here in Bellevue, that's where they go.
Mhm.
But not all of them reside there, right? So everybody has to learn.
I think
Those who are
your
willing.
music to Dr. Heflin's ears.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Because I was going to ask you guys, because I think you mentioned about the community service offices in,
Right.
I guess you would say, the big organizations that's here. Because I'm
Right.
really trying to push what I have to me, which is unique. Like I said, I do specialize in humanoid robotics and JavaScript, Java, Python, any language basically. If you know one, you know them all. So, and I'm just trying to find funding to be able to hold a humanoid robotic workshop or classes or whatever and teach them about, I guess you can say, what's actually happening in the real world. You know what I
Right.
mean? I don't want to build them up to it. I want to start them exactly because I know
Right.
from personal experience, I know that the knowledge is about the same. So the learning curve is about the same. So why not start them off at that? The only difference is the price point. That's what separates the robots.
Yes.
Okay. But the fundamental things underneath it is the same. And I just want to get it out there. But I think I might look
Well,
into that. Yes.
most large companies have a community foundation that they put their money into. They run it and then they distribute from there. Their website should have that. But I also was just thinking, if you have a large company nearby, which you probably do, maybe you can go in and offer to do a Saturday program for their employees' kids, like a demo, and get them
Okay.
excited.
Okay.
Dr. Heflin, the first thing that comes to my mind is hospitality services for humanoid robots.
Okay.
Because I just read an article and I hadn't sent it to Ray yet. They're gonna start using the humanoid robots in wait staff. When you're paying, $30 an hour, you can't afford that in a restaurant.
We have that now here in Atlanta. We actually have
Right.
restaurants that bring the robots bring your food to the table.
There you go.
We
And you
actually
can,
have that already. So,
and
yeah.
so I would approach those guys because you've got to have somebody that does what you do, programs them, who works on it for the troubleshooting, who fixes them. If you got a problem or a sensor, right? You were a godsend. We've been having this conversation about who's going to fix the robots, and then where's the resale market for them?
Yeah.
There are so many things that we're a little bit on that curve or that wave that we just haven't gotten to yet, but the need is there. Who's going to fix the drones? Who's fixing the ag drones? Who's fixing all the things?
Yes.
Who understands sensors, a board? How do you do it?
There's a big market in it.
Tremendous.
That's part of my argument when people say robots are going to take your job. I said, no, they're going to create jobs.
Oh gosh, tons of jobs, tons. It's just going to
create jobs. It's not going to take your job.
We just don't have the vocabulary yet for their jobs.
Yeah.
As Ray says, my child will graduate and their job won't even be created for them until they graduate college or whenever.
Yes.
It's undefined.
Yes.
What our idea of a job is not in 5 years with AI and as fast as we're moving. No, totally changed, game changer. We just have to, as scientists and as teachers, we have to be open. We can't live in a closed-minded brick anymore. Those walls are gone. You better be able to rock and roll and move with it.
And it's funny, you guys. It's funny. I teased the students that I said, when I first entered in computers, I used to start off with www dot.
Right.
There's a reason. This is www dot, World Wide Web. This is a global thing. So don't lock yourself out. This is a global thing. So, and it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere.
Oh, no.
No. Too much money invested in it already. So, for anyone to throw in the towel anyway. So, it's not going anywhere.
You're singing our song.
Okay, well, we're past our hour, but any last minute questions or concerns you'd like our feedback on?
I only see Ray's links in the chat. I don't see yours, Elizabeth.
Mine were where it says Instructables, Teachers, and AccelerateLearning.com. Do you see those? They're the last two.
No.
Yours not there.
Not there. Okay. Resend them again. I'm seeing them. I don't know why I'm seeing them.
I will put them on the Zoom call page when I post the video.
Okay.
So probably by the morning I'll have it on.
Okay, no problem.
But you can always return email, ask questions.
Okay.
So any other questions, concerns? It's been a great group. And I can see as we move on, we're going to have some lively discussions. And Mr. Romeo, you're still the longest distance member. Thank you.
Yes.
So I hope someday you can join us in the U.S. for an activity. All right, I'm going to stop the recording. Thank everybody, and we will do it again next month.